Hey guys, Environmental Gary coming at you. I wasn't going to make a video today, but I feel like I've kind of been forced to do so. It goes hand in hand with the environmental videos we've been making over the last few weeks. You guys saw me go down and clean out all the ditches down to the end of my road, and I told you guys what I was picking up was mostly the recycling that blows out of our recycling bins here that we use in the city of North Bay. They don't have any lids. They're just blue boxes, kind of an old style, something that they came up with in the 90s when this problem first became, people were made aware, hey, we need to start recycling. Well, I came home this week and one of my bins, I'll show you guys the bins. You'll notice that the one on the end is still full. So I got a note in that bin saying that they were not going to take it because it was not a city authorized bin. They've been taking this bin for 6 years since I moved here. So Environmental Gary said, no, I'm not going to take that. I went online, I filled out the complaint form and sent a photo of the bins. I get a one-line response saying, please send a photo of the bins. I said, look, I already sent a photo. Anyway, I wrote them back this morning, took another picture, and I attached it. And I want to read my email back to these guys. And then we're going to touch on a couple of the subjects that are in this letter, because I think it's important. And I'll just start with the letter, okay? And I won't say who I'm corresponding with. I have attached another photo of the bin. I don't want to make this a big deal. They have been taking this bin every week for 6 years now. I work in environmental and have 2 degrees in the field. I worked both for the City of Sudbury in waste management and local environmental consulting, as well as environmental underground for years. Currently, I teach environmental at the college part-time, not this semester. I just spent 5 hours cleaning the ditches down our road from the normal bins that this city uses with no lids, which then permit all light plastics to blow out. It is an issue. I contacted the city of North Bay 5 years ago to discuss green bin programs and how to go about facilitating this in our great city. I wrote up a 3-page inquiry. I received a 2-line response telling me the city had no budget or interest. From that moment on, I have not bothered with my beloved city on any of these matters. No one there really seemed to care about the environmental impacts of my concerns. It was a budget-oriented response only. Our family recycles religiously, and I would simply like them to take the full bins and recycle them. We even separate all of our recycling, even though you have a single stream process. Because the pickup guy complained and left us a note 5 years ago, the Sudbury bin gets light plastics in it only. A child with the arm strength of a 4-year-old can lift it, and I can lift it with 1 finger. This is a preemptive strike on my part because I know what they're going to say. It's too heavy for our guys to lift. It's not too heavy. I don't want to get into a political argument over whether these bins are city approved. I just want my recycling taken and recycled. We are organized and clean. The recycling is separated and washed. There should be no issue. My wife, Dr. Reed, agrees. Hey, if you got a hammer, you use it. I really just want to keep this as simple as possible. My wife, kids, and I do our part. Recycle. The city does its part. Empty the bin. I'm the guy who carries them down the 200-foot driveway, and you know what? Carrying the bins back to the house full is not something I like to do. Thanks in advance, Gary C. Reed. And you know when I put the middle initial, this guy means business. This is not something I want to waste my time with, political crap over whether a bin is city approved or not. The point is that a family is taking the time to separate, wash, and recycle responsibly. They're teaching this to the kids. We're promoting it at home. I would have loved to have done the green bin program. The last city I lived in, Lively, they started this project and they tested it in the small city of 5,000 of Lively, which was every bit of food waste goes in a green bin, including bones, meat products, even Tim Hortons coffee cups, all kinds of stuff, okay? And so I did an audit on our garbage years ago and realized that there was at least one kitchen bag of garbage going into these green bins. And the city had such great luck with it, the city of Sudbury, that they actually incorporated it throughout the whole city. I think there's 400,000 people amalgamated throughout all the little towns and whatever number they spew, right? It's a pretty big number. So they implemented that through the whole city. They used that green bin program for all of their parks and recreation projects. They actually have so much green bin stuff left over that they give it away once or twice a summer to people when they have excess. And it's for free. They just give it away for gardens and stuff. Fantastic project. Well, I wrote up a great big report saying I would love to talk to City Council about that. I would love to donate my time, volunteer. Can we look into starting this project? Who do I talk to about this? Can I go to City Council meetings? I had all the questions and everything written out. I got a 2-line response from these guys saying the city has no budget or interest at this time. That's might even been a 1-line response. And I was not happy about that. I got back to them again. And they just told me, look, we're not interested. And this was 5 years later. Still no interest here. But now they want to start getting on people for not using the proper bin. Well, to me, that's ridiculous. That's a cop-out. It's like telling people, we don't want you to recycle. And if we get to the heart of the matter, all these pop cans that are thrown in these bins should be money for the Canadian people, right? You return a beer can, you get 10 cents. You can't return a pop can. It's the exact same, right? The label is the only thing different on these. It is such a joke here in Canada, the way this system is run. I'm going to let you guys in on another little secret, because I'm an insider and I know these things. The city that I worked for before takes glass, okay? But they don't have the recycling facilities here in the north to recycle the glass. So they stockpiled the glass behind the recycling bin, behind the recycling plant. Mountains of glass, because they were trucking it down to Toronto. And the trucking fees got so prohibitive that they stopped recycling the glass. And I don't know if it ever became public knowledge. I don't know if it ever was newsworthy enough. I knew about it. Hundreds and hundreds of other people knew about it. It's little things like that that burn my rear. Working in environmental, we try to do the right thing. People want to do the right thing. And it all comes down to a budget-oriented response. That's the bottom line. I've never seen any city employees ever come down here and clean our ditches. That's up to me and my neighbors, and we do that religiously. The problem could be solved by simply switching to this glorious bin that Sudbury has provided me with. And I paid for that bin. Sudbury charged, I think it was $20 a bin, and people were happy to buy them. We bought them because it saved us work in the long run, right? What's my time worth? Not everybody is going to go out there and volunteer 4 hours to clean the ditches like Gary does. A lot of people do. A lot of good people do. But not everyone. You'll always have that one neighbor or two, and I'm not pointing at Tom's house. That's just the direction I walked when I cleaned the ditches. So by no way am I implicating Tom. Some neighbors are not going to come out and clean. That could be resolved with bins with lids, little things like that. So I'm asking you guys, is there something that your city does that just sits in your craw that really bothers you? And by the way, I will keep you guys informed on what the response I get from this letter, what happens. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. And I feel like I've already wasted 2 hours of my time on this for something I shouldn't have had to waste time on, right? If somebody puts out a blue bin and it's nice, washed, separated, take it, recycle it, right? There should be no issue. Comment below, guys. Are you dealing with something in your city? Do you have ideas? Have you sat on council? Do you work in environment? What kind of struggles do you guys face? It's a common thing. Every city, every country, we all have these issues, right? Some countries do a lot better than others. Canada, we do the bare minimum, right? Probably have about a 15 or 18% recycling rate. That's an old number I'm throwing at you guys, but I don't think it probably hasn't improved since I've been in school. Some other countries, 50% or more. And you know how they do it? They pay people to recycle. They actually have vending machines that you put the cans in or you put the plastic bottles in, and then you get a receipt with your $2 back for the 15 cans you put in or whatever it is, right? You have to incentivize the people somehow, and money works, right? And if that's what's going to keep the garbage out of the ditches and the streets, then maybe we need to start doing it. My city here won't even deal with changing a bin, so there's no way they're going to start paying people for the recycling, right? It's not going to happen. But one small change at a time. And Gary will not stand back and say, hey, I'm not going to use this bin because you have an issue with it. No, that's not right. Take the bin. I told them, I'm the guy who has to carry these bins down the 200-foot driveway. I'm not joking. It's a long driveway. And I ended my letter, as you guys know, by me saying I don't like to carry them back to the house full. So hopefully that gets somebody's attention. I'll be labeled as a troublemaker, but I'll let you guys know how this all turns out. Thanks for watching.